What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hungry Wolf Blueprint. I'm going to be covering for you in this video a little bit more about what the big picture looks like when it comes to business funding. We're going to talk about start to finish of what types of funding different businesses are qualified for, whether somebody has no revenue versus if they have some growth so far and they have some revenue going on in their business. I am Majid Assaf, the founder and CEO of the business here, and my team and I specialize in helping business owners or even somebody that hasn't started a business yet to secure anywhere from $100,000 to more than $250,000 at 0% interest. This is our most popular product. And with that said, we have a lot of other funding options that we offer as well that we're going to be talking a little bit more about, like personal loans, business lines of credit, business term loans, SBA Express and SBA loans, as well as long-term business financing. So we're going to talk more about what each of these entail and what are the requirements to qualify for them. Just want to show you a little bit more about us here. So if you want to check out our website, feel free to. Anybody that works with us is going to have a dedicated funding advisor that works with you start to finish. So you're not going to have to try to figure anything out yourself. And we have, very strong reviews on Trustpilot. We funded all different types of industries. These are some of our past clients. And with that said, let's take a look at our content here that I have prepared that we're going to talk about the 7 stages of business funding. So we're going to talk more about what are the 7 stages of business funding, depending on where the personal credit profile is currently, as well as, what is the revenue of the business, or maybe if they're still pre-revenue and they have no business yet, there are still some options for you. And we're going to talk about all the way down to stage 7 and what that entails. So starting out here, I broke it down into these 7 stages. It's really 6 stages, and then the 7th is next level, wealth building, etc. So stage 1, this is really where somebody is still in survival mode. Maybe they don't have the best credit. They need some improvement there. So that's going to be stage 1. This is where, maybe somebody's credit score is like 600 or 650, for example. Stage 2, this is where you're rebuilding your credit. So, you're getting your scores higher and upper 600s. You're building out your profile. And then this here is sort of the threshold. This is the breaking point. When somebody has a strong credit score, typically above 720, this is where they qualify for 0% interest funding, anywhere from 25K to 250K. Usually we get our clients about 100 to 150K on average is where most profiles end up, unless if it's a strong file and they can get more than 250. Also, different types of lines of credit. This is stage 4 if somebody actually has some revenue. And we're going to go more in depth into each one of these. Term loans. So, for buying equipment, for example, if you want to, get long-term financing for something in your business, those are the term loans. And then we're going to talk finally about the final stage of business funding. That's really what's called SBA funding. So this is funding that would be backed by the Small Business Administration. And this is where, if a business is more established, has more tax returns, good profitability, they can qualify for some big numbers here as well. And of course, the final stage, this is once, the business has grown to a certain point where revenue is solid, you have multiple businesses generating income. This is where somebody can start looking at commercial loans, buying apartment buildings, buying assets, investing in multiple businesses. So this is the next level beyond the growth of the business itself. And these stages here, stages 1 through 6, are sequential, right? So you cannot just skip to stage 6 if you don't qualify for it. So, what is survival mode? So, this is really where, somebody maybe they have uh, low credit score, they're building themselves up, they have high usage. So, somebody that maybe needs to go to credit repair, for example. So, this is where you're still building up your foundation. So, you don't qualify for 0% interest funding yet. But you're working your way there. Maybe you're getting yourself some low limit secure credit cards. Maybe you're in something where you're building up your credit. You're in a credit repair service. So this is where you're still at stage one. Now, stage two, this is where your profile has started to become closer to be fundable, right? So your scores are in the mid to high 600s. You have a clean profile now, no late payments, no charge-offs, nothing like that. Consistently paying stuff on time. Maybe you have a couple of small loans that you've paid off, like a small personal loan, or maybe you have a couple more accounts on your profile that are looking good, and you have nicer, maybe stronger limits on your personal credit cards as well. We usually recommend before going for 0% interest funding to build up your profile so you have at least one personal credit card close to $10,000 in limits. Now from here, this is really where the business funding starts becoming fun. This is where your profile is in really good shape. Your score is maybe above 720. You can qualify for the 0% interest business credit cards. You have been disciplined with making payments on time in your profile. And this is really one of the most powerful tools for someone that is starting a fresh business. Because even if somebody is pre-revenue, if they don't have a lot of revenue yet, or they just started a business, as long as you have a strong personal credit profile, you don't have too many inquiries on your report, you can secure anywhere from about 100K to 150K at 0% interest. Now, this capital, of course, you want to have a plan of how you're going to deploy it, because you don't want to just go and get, this $100,000, for example, and use it for something that is not going to generate revenue for you, or maybe, go buy a fancy car or go shopping with it. You want to have that mindset that this 0% interest funding is going to be invested in your business to generate revenue. Um, and a couple of other cool perks about these, really strong cashback rewards. We work with our clients to get them the 0% interest funding. So once we're doing that, we go for the best types of cards, the best cashback rewards, travel points, etc. So this is really the first step of when you're actually able to secure funding for your business. Stage 3 is when you can start getting the 0% business credit cards. Now let's talk about stage 4. So this is where, your business has some more revenue, right? So maybe you're doing $200,000, $400,000 a year in revenue. You're bringing in anywhere from $20,000 and $50,000 a month. So now this is where you've been in business maybe for more than a year, and you can start qualifying for business lines of credit. So what are business lines of credit? Business lines of credit is a revolving line of capital that you can access, and you only need to make payments on what you're using. So for example, if you have a $100,000 line of credit, you can go and just pull $20,000 from it, and you're only going to be making payments on the $20,000 that you've withdrawn from the line. Typically, these are interest-only payments, so you don't have high monthly payments when you're using that line, which lets you keep more cash flow inside of your business while you're deploying that capital to generate more revenue. And some banks and some of our connections specifically can get up to 25% of your annual revenue as a business line of credit. So, for example, if there's a business owner doing more than $1 million a year in revenue, we can get them a $250,000 business line of credit. So that explains more about the next level. Once you have more revenue, once the business has consistent cash flow, somebody would qualify for a business line of credit. Now, the next stage beyond the business line of credit, this is where you have multiple years of tax returns. Maybe you are looking for more expansion capital, like a longer term loan. To be able to qualify for that, you do need to have stronger financials and cash flow. And the business cannot just be operating for 1 year. Typically for this, you're looking for a business that's been operating for at least 2 years, has good ROI, good profitability. And the most common reasons why term loans and expansion capital is used is if you want to grow your team, maybe you're hiring more people, maybe you're looking for some investment in some new equipment, you want to scale your systems, build out some new software infrastructure, etc. Or acquisitions, right? Maybe you're looking to actually purchase a competitor of yours and merge them inside of your business. So this is where stage 5 of term loans and expansion capital comes into play. Now, stage 6. This is where you are actually an established business, you have strong revenue, you have solid tax returns, good profitability. And if that is the case, this is where you can qualify for SBA funding. Now, when it comes to SBA funding, there are two options. There are some that actually include the acquisition of real estate. So that's the SBA 7A types of loans. And that's where you can go for the really big numbers. So we're talking millions of dollars in funding. This is for more established businesses that are doing, have multiple years of tax returns, but you don't have to have huge revenue to qualify for this. Like even if somebody's only doing, let's say, $500,000 a year and they have $200,000 in profit, we can secure for them, or you can qualify for an $800,000 SBA loan, for example, because the SBA loans can qualify you up to 4x of what your profit is. So if you're profiting 200,000, you can you can get an SBA loan for up to $800,000. It's depending on the industry, depending on some other criteria, but this type of funding is really the final level, one of the strongest levels when it comes to business funding. Now, of course, on the other side, you also have the SBA Express loan. So the SBA Express, the great thing about it is that it takes less time. So you can be done with an SBA Express loan in about 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes a little more than 4 weeks. But generally, a regular SBA loan is going to take anywhere from 2, sometimes even 3 months. But here we're talking about big numbers, right? And we have some very strong connections specifically in SBA lending, where the companies that we work with and the consultancies have been in business for more than 20 years. So they're very detailed when they're helping you prepare everything, to submit the documents. And so that gives you a nice summary of SBA lending. Now, talking more about stage 7, this is where you're an established business owner, you're successful, you have multiple businesses that are generating income, and you want to start thinking about wealth building. This is not necessarily just pertaining to business funding, but it's more where, you have capital coming in from your businesses and you want to start thinking long-term tax strategy. Maybe you want to buy an apartment building to benefit from the depreciation and lower your tax bill. Maybe you're investing and doing some equity deals in other companies so that you're diversifying your portfolio. So this is where somebody starts thinking about generational wealth from the business capital and just the revenue that is coming in from their business. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. We walked through all 6 stages as well as this bonus stage of diversifying your portfolio, reallocating your assets for long term, for your family, etc. And yeah, if you'd like to check out more of our content, look at our website, subscribe, like. We'd really appreciate it if you want to, see more content like this about business funding. And if you do have any questions, just drop a comment below. If you want to reach out to us, ask any questions, we're always glad to help. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.